Hey guys, Kunal over here. On Thursday we had a small workshop about how to go ahead and use Python, specifically in Google Cloud Platform. And I heard that we did try to go ahead and record the session, but for some reason it did not work. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and create a video over here, and I hope that will be useful to all of you. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and do pretty much similar things that we did last time. There might be a few additions, few subtractions, but just because I'm going to go ahead and do it on the fly, right? Again, the idea would be to go ahead and keep it crisp, keep it short, keep it as simple as possible, so that you guys can actually go through the video once again. You can actually go and recall whatever we discussed, and can go ahead and start coding right away, right? So we'll go and keep that thing in mind. I will go ahead and switch off my webcam now, and we'll go ahead and switch to the my screen so that you guys can actually go ahead and see what I'm doing and how I'm doing it. Okay, so again, it would be pretty much the same thing that we discussed on Thursday, just in a video format so that you can actually go ahead and refer to it again. All right, so now I'll go ahead and switch off my webcam, and we'll actually go ahead and start sharing my screen. I'll wait for it to happen. Somehow it's getting stuck. Okay, it's working. And I think that my webcam is still working, or it's not working anymore. Okay, it's done. Uh, I hope that you guys can actually go ahead and see my screen now. All right, so you should be able to go ahead and see this slide that I'm having. Again, the idea over here is I have put down all my notes over here, and you guys can actually go ahead and refer to these slides, see how to go ahead and make a VM, and then again take a note of how to go ahead and launch Jupyter Notebook on that. But like I said, that you can actually go and start coding right away. So let's go ahead and first of all understand the agenda that we discussed on Thursday. We discussed about why we need Python, why Pandas is so important for us, that we are actually having a workshop just to go ahead and introduce you all to the topic of Pandas, why we need to go ahead and use GCP. Again, some quick notes on Pandas. Again, these last two topics we were not able to go ahead and do, so I'm not going to go ahead and cover in this video as well. But they are pretty interesting, and I can actually go ahead and give you logic why do I have it over here. But maybe in the next workshop we can actually go ahead and cover it. Okay, in workshop 2. So let me go ahead and start by why Python. Why do we even need Python, right? So guys, what I would want all of us to go ahead and understand is that we do not have to go and become Python coders per se. We are not trying to go and become Python developers. Our end goal has to be to go ahead and become a full stack data person. What it means is that we should be able to go ahead and play around with data. And Python is one of the best tools out there to go ahead and apply mathematics on our data, right? So we are not really becoming Python developers. We are trying to go and become data engineers, data scientists, better data analysts by using Python to go and apply mathematics on the quantum of data that we will be having. Um, Not to say that we cannot go ahead and apply this kind of a mathematics through Excel or some other kind of tools out there. We definitely can do that. It's just that in case you are dealing with a quantum of data which would require you to go ahead and apply some sophisticated mathematical algorithms, you should go ahead and use Python. One again caveat that I would want to go ahead and flag over here itself is that in case you think that you are having 1000 rows, 10,000 rows of data, maybe 20, 30 columns, I would still go ahead and prefer Excel for some quick analysis. If you are, if you want to go ahead and showcase something quick, something not very sophisticated, but enough to go ahead and give you some kind of a decision, some kind of insights on which you can actually go ahead and take decisions, some kind of actionable insights, I would still go and rely on Excel than Python, right? Again, Python has some fantastic visualization libraries, but my personal thing is that again, if my data is of 1,000, 10,000, 20,000 rows, some 20, 30 odd columns, I would rather go ahead and use Power BI. I would rather go ahead and use Tableau than actually Python library. So that's just me. Again, it's all up to you. How do you want to go ahead and use it? I'll not go ahead and make any comment on whatever your personal preferences are, but this is just me. Our next question is why pandas, right? Now, like I said that the main purpose of learning Python is to go ahead and actually play around with data, to go ahead and get into the shape and forms so that we can actually go and apply machine learning algorithms on top of that. Because see, machine learning algorithms have very stringent conditions that your data need to go ahead be in a certain shape, certain form, certain format. Only then those algorithms can be applied. So Pandas is one library which will go ahead and help us to get our data ready in that direction, to go ahead, make it ready to go ahead and apply our machine learning algorithms on top of that. Again, Pandas by itself does not have any machine learning capabilities. Even if there are certain algorithms which I do not know of, they wouldn't be as sophisticated for sure. So our whole focus of Pandas is to go ahead, uh, transform our data, to go ahead and extract our data even from different sources, and then transform it and to go ahead and get into the shape and form so that we can actually go ahead and apply machine learning algorithms on top of that. So Pandas is something which will do more with data wrangling, more with data preparation than anything else. Now coming to the third question, and a very important question, that why we need to go ahead and do it on GCP, right? Again, you can actually go ahead and replace GCP by any kind of a cloud platform that you would want. You can do it on Azure, you can do it on AWS. I believe it was Ankur Batla who said last time that the methodology, whether that is Azure or whether that is AWS, is pretty much similar. So be my guest, use any kind of a cloud platform that you would want to go ahead and use. But I would still go ahead and recommend you all to go ahead and use a cloud platform. I mean, you guys can actually go ahead and do a lot of fun stuff on your local machines, but time is right for us to go ahead and transition to cloud platforms. And with the kind of rigor that we are able to go ahead and see in our organization, in the industry at large, we should actually go and become cloud ready. So that is the whole purpose why I'm actually going ahead. The first half of the session, I will actually go and deal with how to go and prepare a machine, how to go ahead and install Jupyter Notebook on that, how to actually go ahead and utilize uh, the Google Cloud platform to go ahead and learn Python. So that's what it is. And so on this note, we can actually go ahead and start with our session. And again, some of the quick notes on Pandas is something uh, we actually were able to go ahead and do a bit of examples in our workshop. And the working file I have already shared with all of you. If in case you do not have that working file, you can always go ahead and get in touch with me, and I will actually be able to go ahead and provide it to you. So without further discussion or putting any time anywhere else, let's go ahead and start with going ahead and creating a virtual machine on GCP, Google Cloud Platform. So one of the requirements or prerequisites of the workshop was that you would be having a project within GCP. So whenever you go ahead and create a project within GCP, you can actually go ahead and enter your own credit card details. It will go ahead and deduct $1 out of it, which is like 70 rupees. And it will go ahead and give you a credit of around $300, which can be utilized for a period of 12 months. That is 1 year. These $300, though it might not sound very huge amount, but fact of the matter is that GCP is one of the cheapest and one of the best cloud platforms out there. So $300 is pretty decent amount for all of us to actually go ahead and play around in the playground and actually go ahead and get ourselves ready with the knowledge and the implementation hands-on practice. In addition to that, you can even go ahead and get Cloud Burner. If there's anyone who wants to go ahead and get Cloud Burner, please get in touch with me, and again I would be able to go ahead and help you out with that. So what we'll do is we'll first of all we'll go to the once you are actually in Google Cloud Platform, you might be in the home screen. Let me just go ahead and quickly open up the home screen for you, which is like a dashboard. You can actually go ahead and see whatever is going on. And we do have a lot of things going on over here. So I'll quickly go ahead and jump to Compute Engine. I do have a few Compute Engines over here. So the very first thing I will do is for you how to go ahead and create first Compute Engine over there. So, okay. So first of all, I will go ahead and click on Create Instance. So this is how the instance would look like. Somehow this thing is not really rendering the way it should, but anyways. So now you can actually go ahead and name your instance. Now this name is permanent, so keep this thing in your mind. You can actually go ahead and name it as, say, my workshop uh, to uh, two, anything like this. Keep make sure that everything is in lowercase, and use numbers if you would want to, and this name would be permanent, right? Now you can actually go ahead and select your regions. My key idea would always be to go ahead and select the region which is nearest to you. For us, it would be South Asia, South 1 Mumbai, and you can actually go ahead and get any zone that you would want over here, anything that you would want. You can keep this thing over here. So now you can actually now go ahead and select the kind of machine that you would want to go ahead and make. You can there are multiple kinds of machines that you can actually go ahead and create. For us, we can actually go ahead and keep first generation N1 machines, which is like a workhorse for all of us. It can actually go ahead and do a lot of stuff by itself. So it can actually go and help us in machine learning of structured data. It can actually go and help us to go ahead and pre-process data, do a lot of heavy lifting. Until unless you are actually going ahead and using a lot of big data, a lot of unstructured data, that is images, a lot of videos, a real-time ingestion or real-time analytics, real-time modeling on top of that, I would request you to go and use N1 kind of machine. You can select the kind of memory that you would want, how many virtual CPUs that you would want, how many nodes that you would want to go and keep. For me, one vCPU is enough, 3.75 GB of memory. If I want, even I can even go and get a shared core of 1.7, but that's 3.75 GB of RAM. Now I need to go ahead and select what kind of boot disk that I would want, what kind of operating system that I would want. I can actually go ahead and select. Debian is like a Linux system, so I will actually go ahead and use deep learning on Linux system, and I will actually go ahead and use the version of TensorFlow. Okay. The reason why I have selected this kind of a configuration is because you would be having pretty much all kinds of dependencies already installed in here. You would be having TensorFlow algorithms, um, packages already installed over here. You would be having the latest version of Python. You would be having pretty much all dependencies over here. So you do not really have to go and install a lot of things over here. So this kind of a machine would be perfect for you. You can actually go and select the size. For a TensorFlow machine, we cannot have anything less than 50 GB of persistent disk. Though 10 GB would be enough for us at least to go and practice. But for a TensorFlow machine, it will not go below 50 GB. So 50 GB is good enough for us, more than good enough for us. I'll do that. I will go and allow HTTP and HTTPS traffic, and we'll click on create. So this is how you can actually go and create a TensorFlow machine. Now, I already do, like I said, I already do have a few machines installed with me. So I will not go ahead and create this machine, but I will actually go and use one of the machines that I've already got. So once this machine is installed, you have created this machine. It will take you around a couple of minutes for this machine to actually get created for you, the backend. Once that is done, you would be able to go and see this kind of a line item. Right now, it shows that my machine is sitting in US Central region, which is okay. You can go and keep whatever zone that you would want to. Like I said, that it's better that you go for and take machine in the zone which is nearest to you for data latency and all that. But this would be okay as well. And now the next step is, now if you see, there are a couple of things over here which you have to go and keep in mind. Number one, it shows you the zone over here. It shows you your internal IP address. As you can see, this is like a private IP address, class A, 10 dot something, something, something. Again, all the CCNA days, everyone who has done CCNA networking and all that would know what it means. Now this is our external IP address, but right now this is ephemeral. Right now it can actually go for and change as well. So the very first thing that I will do is I will actually go and make this as our static IP address. Now, how would I go and do it? So what I would do is I will actually go to C machines, UPC network, and we'll click on external IP address. So I have opened this thing in another tab. So let's go and wait for this thing to open up. So this is a list of all the machines that I'm having on all the associated IP addresses and everything. So in case you are having more than a few machines, you can actually go ahead and search over here. My machine over here. I can actually go ahead and, so as you guys can actually go ahead and see, this is my machine with the IP address 35.192.67.19. 35.192.67.19. This is my machine. First thing that I would do is I will actually go and change this ephemeral IP address to static, and we'll actually go for a name the IP address, the static IP address over here. And remember that this will be an additional charge on you. Again, you are having $300 with you that you can actually go and spend it, so it's not really bad investment. This is money given to you by Google to go and practice, so you can actually go and use it over here. You can actually go and name it Atom ML static IP address. How I have given it, you can actually go and put some kind of a description. Static IP address for ML machine. Right? On reserve. So what we'll do is we'll go and create a static IP. Now my system has got static IP address. So I will go and keep this thing in mind. So I'll just keep it handy with me now. And now I will go to the firewall rules. That should be over here. You see, if you see over here, these are the firewall rules. Right now everything is on the left. So I can actually go and click on this button to go ahead and get a static menu on my left panel. So I can click on firewall rules, and now I can go and create a new rule over here. Okay. All right. So I can click on create a rule over here. Let's say allow all IP address. Okay. Go ahead and put some this kind of a rule. I can go ahead and say that it should be an ingress traffic only. So again, if you go if you go ahead and notice, again, everything is in small case, in lowercase. There can be letters, there can be numbers, there can be hyphens. Again, this is the name of your firewall rule, so keep it handy with you. Now, there are three things that you have to go and keep in mind over here. Number one, your target should always be all instances in the network. Okay. Do not go ahead and select as specified targets or specified service accounts. Go ahead and put it as all instances in the network. Now over here, it will ask you for the IP ranges. So you can go ahead and put 0.0.0.0/0. What it means is that it will go ahead and let all IP addresses hit your virtual machine. So it will let all IP addresses ingest data in your virtual machine. This is what it kind of shows. Now you can actually go ahead and select your TCP protocol, which port you want to open up over here for your connection. You can go and put any kind of a number that you would want. It's like a TCP port, like transmission control protocol. Again, back to your engineering days. I hope that you would all remember what it means, right? So you can actually go ahead and put any kind of a port number that you want. 892. It doesn't really matter, right? Again, three things that you'll have to go and keep in mind. Number one, it should be all instances in the network. Number two, your IP address range should be 0.0.0.0/0. So what it does is it allows every IP address to go and hit your machine. Again, if you have done networking course and all that, you would have a concept of subnetting and supernetting. So have given a subnet of 0. Then go ahead and open up the TCP port of 992, say, for us. And then you can actually go ahead and click on create over here to go ahead and create this rule. Go ahead and do that. Quick. All right, so this is done. All right. Now what do we have to go and do over here? So now let's go ahead and check our machine real quick. So we are now ready to go ahead and SSH into our machine, which is like secure shell into our machine, and start working on that. So what I've done is I've clicked on this SSH button over here, if you see, to go ahead and open command line interface. Yep, command line interface. I know all of us love it, right? I know it's most dreaded, but trust me, I will go ahead and make sure that you are having all the commands. Like I said earlier as well, everything is written on these PPTs. You don't have to go and worry about anything. All the steps are written over here, what you guys need to go and do. what exactly needs to happen, and even when you go to your CLI, your command line interface, what all commands you'll have to go ahead and run to go ahead and make it ready. All right. So this is where I am. The very first thing that I would try to go ahead and do is whether Python is installed over here or not, right? That is the first check that I would want to go ahead and do. So what I'll do is I'll type Python minus version, right? To go ahead and check what is the version of the Python installed over here. Oops, it's Python 2.7.13 installed over here, which is kind of deprecated. Remember that if you actually go ahead and create a TensorFlow machine, you would already be having Python 3.7 installed over there. But this is not a TensorFlow machine that I have created. So this was one of the machines that I already had, which is having Python 2.7 installed over here. Now this is a red flag, the very first red flag. So which means that you do not have Python 3 installed, or maybe you are having it installed. Let's go ahead and check. Now let's go ahead and type Python 3 minus version. Now let's go ahead and press enter. What will happen? All right. So what it means is that I also do have Python 3.5.3 installed over here, which means I have two versions of Python, Python 2.7 and Python 3.5. Great. So Python 3.5 can be accessed through Python 3 command, whereas when I go and just type Python, it will go ahead and access only Python 2.7. So this is something that I'll have to go and keep in mind whenever I want to go ahead and run any kind of program through Python 3. It has to be Python 3, then space, your file name or whatever. If I want to go ahead and run it through Python 2.7, then I can go ahead and type Python and then file name or whatever. Right. So this is where we are at. Now next step is to go ahead and install Jupyter Notebook. So let's go ahead and do that. So like I said earlier as well, that I have all the commands over here on the machine, on my slides. So you don't have to go ahead and remember it or anything. Even I do not have them remembered. So what I'll do is I'll first of all install Anaconda 3. Remember, the Jupyter Notebook is a tool of Anaconda 3. Now what I'll do is I'll actually go ahead and bash Anaconda and install all the dependencies. I might have to go ahead and press enter a few times because it will ask me to go ahead and accept all the terms and conditions. I'll do that. And then it'll ask me to go ahead and type in yes to actually go ahead and ensure that I accept every condition. So I will go ahead and type yes, press enter. It'll ask me where to go ahead and install it. I'm like, okay, go ahead and install it over here. Doesn't matter to me. What it's doing right now, it's actually going ahead and installing all the dependencies. It will go ahead and take some time to go ahead and install everything. So we'll just go ahead and wait and watch. By that time, I would just want to go ahead and reflect on one thing, guys, something that I told you in the workshop. So I was not able to go ahead and repeat in the video because I actually forgot about it. Remember the cause, right? Why we are doing something. Like Simon Sinek said, that know your why, right? Start with why. So our why is to go ahead and apply mathematics through Python, right? That's our why. Remember when we did our engineering, we did all kinds of programming, Java, C++. We wrote all kinds of programs, check whether a string is a palindrome or not, reverse the array and all that. And I still am looking for a project where I have to go and check whether an array is reversed or not, right? But I have never seen that in any kind of a project. Why we struggled, at least I struggled at that point of time, was because nobody told me why am I doing these things. So the idea was not to go for and reverse an array. The idea was not to go and check whether a string was palindrome or not. The idea was to go and learn how to use for loops. The idea was to go and learn how to go and use switch cases. The idea was to go and learn how to use if statements. The moment we go and deviate from our why, we get ourselves engrossed into things which are not even necessary probably. So always go and keep your why in the center. Always go and keep that in your mind, that you are not becoming Python programmer. You are becoming a data scientist, a data engineer, a better data analyst. Therefore, it's important for all of us to go ahead and ensure that we go ahead and learn Python in that direction. All right. So right now it's asking me whether I would want to go ahead and get it installed over here. So I will go ahead and say yes. Let's go ahead and install over here in my home directory itself. So everything is installed. Let's go ahead and check. Now this is the Linux system. So I'll do an ls. It will go ahead and give me all the um, files that I'm having over here. So I can actually go ahead and have a little cleaner version of ls. I was also told about it by somebody else. So it will go ahead and tell me in a much cleaner manner what are the folders that I have, what are the files do I have, and these were created and all these kind of things, right? So this is done. The next thing that I would do is I will try to go and see if there is any kind of a config file that has already been created, right? Let's go ahead and check it out. I do have the code for that as well. So I will go ahead and check if I do have a config file in my folder. Says that no such file or directory is present. So it means that my Jupyter Notebook config file is not really over there. So what I would do now is I will actually go ahead and create a config file, a Jupyter Notebook config file. So again, back in your engineering days, all of us did Linux and all that, right? We used to have those labs. At that time, we used to have VI editors, right? Nowadays, people go and use Nano. So again, choice is yours whether you would want to go and use VI editor. Please feel free to do so. If you want to do Nano, perfect. Feel free to do so. I will go ahead and use Nano over here. So I will type Nano, and then I will go ahead and put the name of the file over here. Jupyter underscore notebook underscore config dot py. So what I'm going to do is now you have seen the file doesn't exist. So why I'm trying to go and open with Nano. So this is how Linux behaves. If the file doesn't exist, it will go ahead and create the file and will open it up for us. So I will go ahead and use Nano since the file doesn't exist. So an empty file is created for us. So what I would do now is I will have to go ahead and enter 4 lines of code over here. So I will go ahead and take these 4 lines of code. Not this one line, but I have to have 4 lines of code. So I will go ahead and get that. Why am I not able to get all these 4 lines? Let me go ahead and check real quick. Let me try once again. Problems. I will go ahead and put in my notepad first, and then I will go ahead and get it over there. I know it gets a little crazy at times, and you do not want to go and mess up with your config file, right? Okay. 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 Right. So I do have it in my notepad as well. So I'll take the file from there and put it over here. All right. So these are the 4 lines over here. So what it's saying is that I need to go and get the configuration. It can connect to any IP address. I do not have to go and open any browser because remember this is a virtual machine, so I do not have to go and open any browser anywhere. And it is asking for the port number, so I'll have to go ahead and put in my port number over here. Remember our port number, something that we put it in our firewall rules, was 9892. Allow IP address, all IP addresses. This was the IP address that we used. So this is port number 9892. I'll go ahead and use that. I'll again come to my SSH import number. I will type in 9892. This is the port number that I would want. I will do Control X, which says that I would want to exit from here. And it's saying that whether do I want to go and save it. I'll say bye, yes, save it. And do I want to go ahead and write the same file name? I'll say yes. So that file is now listed over here. If I want, I can actually go ahead and check this file once again. The 4 lines listed over here. Okay, so again, I'll do Control X. I'll come out from there. And now is the time for us to go ahead and open up the Jupyter Notebook, right? So I will go ahead and put in this command. Again, all these commands are already in the slides. You don't have to go and worry about it. Okay. Not working somehow. Don't worry about it. There might be 3 minus m notebook minus IP equal to .g.0. minus port is equal to 9892. No browser work. Okay, don't worry about it. It's because it is stored in a different folder right now. So let me go ahead and check that real quick, and then I will go ahead and open it. Okay, give me just 1 minute. All right, so issue got resolved. So the only issue was that some of the dependencies of Jupyter were not installed. So what I've done is just a simple pip install command, pip install Jupyter. Wow, at times it just is so crazy that there can be just something so very simple which is actually going ahead and causing all this trouble. It will just go ahead and install all your dependencies like this. Right, so we'll just go ahead and give 1 moment. I've already done it. I've tested that it's working. So once that is done, I will again go ahead and run my Python command to go ahead and open my notebook. I'll go ahead and press enter. And it will go ahead and give me all these kind of details. I do not have to go ahead and worry about this HTTP link. What I would do now is I will go back to my compute engine page. This is my compute engine page, remember? So there are a lot of IP addresses over here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and copy this external IP address. Remember that this is a static IP address. So I'll copy this thing. I'll go ahead and say HTTP : // I will go and put my IP address : 9892, which was my TCP port. Remember, I'll go and press enter, and it has given me the Jupyter homepage. Okay, so now it is asking me to go ahead and put up the password or the token over here. And this is your token. You guys, I hope that you all can actually go see over here. It's like you don't have to go and take the whole thing, just this token over here. So I'll do Control C again. So over here, if you guys can actually go and see, this is a localhost. I don't know how many of you have done those networking courses, but this is called as an APIPA IP address, 127 dot. So this is my token number. I will go and take my token number, copy it from here, go over here, put this in this box and click on login. I don't have to go and save it because this token number can actually change. So this is it. I'm in. So my Jupyter Notebook is now ready to be used. What I can do now is I can actually go and click over here and I can actually go and use Python notebook over here, right? So it's done. My Python notebook is open. I can actually go and use it over here whenever I would want. So I'll take a pause over here because I will close all these windows now, and because I already do have Jupyter Notebook installed on my local machine, so I can actually go ahead and do it from my local machine instead. But then again, this is how you can actually go ahead and start working on your Jupyter Notebooks, right? So it's very, very simple. Creating machine is simple. Creating Jupyter Notebook is simple. This is how you can actually go and do it. So let me now go ahead and quickly close all these browsers, all these tabs. So done. I will also go ahead and close this machine here. I'll do just Control C and close this kernel for Jupyter Notebook. Minimize it because now I do not need this machine, so I can even go and close it if I want. And this is gone. Now I will actually go ahead and focus on, like I said, that we will focus on pandas. So first thing I will do is I will go ahead and type import pandas as PD. The very first thing that I'll have to go and do is I will have to go and import my pandas package. I can type in over here. And you can go to help, by the way, of Jupyter Notebook, and you can actually go and see what all keyboard shortcuts over here. I'll be using keyboard shortcuts over here. You can actually go and see it from here. What all am I going to do? Now let's say if I want to go ahead and remember, I actually shared one Pokemon database file with all of you. Let me go ahead and showcase that file to you guys real quick. So I'm already having it in my local machine. So I'll show you guys that file from here. Let me just quickly open it up. This is the file. So what it has is, if you see, there are a few columns over here. There are around close to 800 rows, if I'm not wrong. Yeah, 800 rows. First row is of headers. So what I would want to go and do right now is I would want to go and import this file in my data frame. Data frame is nothing but just like a table, like an CSV, an Excel sheet out there in Pandas. So I would want to first go ahead and create a table over here. Okay, so I can actually go ahead and use Pandas to go and import the files. How I'll use it is I will go ahead and type in the name. Let's say df is for data frame. Sorry, I'm just coming up. So df is equal to, I can go ahead and use Pandas function of pd.read underscore CSV, and over here I can actually go ahead and type in the name of the file, Pokemon underscore data dot CSV, but it will not work. Why? Because my Pokemon underscore data dot CSV is not in my current directory. So what I would want to go and do is I will want to go ahead and put the exact path over here wherever my file is. So my file is actually in the D drive, so I will go ahead and use that. So this is where my file is. I will go ahead and click on Control plus Enter, and this is already done. So my file should be in now, but I cannot really go and see it over here, right? So I would want to go ahead and see whether this is actually worked or not. So what I will do is I will press D. So what it will do, it will go ahead and create another cell for me just below that. I can press enter so that I can actually start typing in over here. I'll say df dot head. What it will do is it will go ahead and give me the first 5 rows of my database. If it is successfully extracted, if it has been successfully ingested, it will go and give me the first 5 rows of my Pokemon underscore data.cs. Let's go and see whether I can actually go and see it or not. I'll do control enter, and again I can actually go and see the first 5 rows over here. So what it shows is that this is my first run, this is my second run. All right, this is how Jupyter Notebook actually goes ahead and keeps track of everything. I can even go ahead and type 3 in here. So if I do not want to go and see 5 rows, I just want to go and see top 3 rows, I can actually go and see put numeric 3 over here in these brackets. I can again do control enter, it will go and show me the first 3 rows over here. Okay, what it shows is that first row is first column is of indexes, second is name of my Pokemon, their type 1, type 2, what is their HP, what is their attack number, what is their defense number, what is the score of special attack, what is the score of their special defense, what is the speed, uh, whether it is first generation or second generation, and then legendary we will go and talk about in a while what that is. So again, so I can actually go ahead and see it over here, pretty decent. If I would want to go ahead and let's say I do not want to go ahead and see the whole data frame, I just want to go ahead and see a few things. Let's say I would want to go ahead and see just the names of all the uh, Pokemon. So again, I can go ahead and press B, and I can say over here df, and I can go ahead and use square brackets over here. I can go ahead and type in the name of the column over here, df name, and do control enter. It will go and give me all the names that are in my file. Okay, now let's say you say, hey Kunal, I do want not just name, but I would want to go and use type 1, type 2 columns as well. I want to go and see that as well. So what I can do is I can actually go and do a comma. I can go and put type 1, then again type 2. All these are in single quotes over here. Remember that I need to go ahead and have these names exactly as my column names over here. Okay, they should exactly match that. Now if I go ahead and run this command, it will go ahead and give me an error. Okay, what I'm essentially asking for is 3 columns, all the rows, but it will go and give me an error. Why it will go and give me an error? Because if I would want to go ahead and pass in more than one column name, then I need to go ahead and pass in as a list. Okay, again, if I do control enter, like I said, that it will not go ahead and show me anything, but it will give me an error. So it is going ahead and giving me an error. So to go ahead and get rid of this error, I will actually go ahead and put another, enclose these names in another square bracket so that it becomes a list of all these column names over here passed into my data frame. Now again, if I go and run it again, it will go and give me all the rows of these 3 columns. Okay, now let's say if you would want to go ahead and see, Kunal, I just want top 3 rows over here. Okay, so what I would do is I will actually go and use a function of ilog, that is integer location. What I will do is I'll do dot ilog, And now I can go ahead and pass on a few parameters over here in square brackets that I would want to go ahead and get row number 0 from 0 to let's say 10, right? So one thing that you'll have to go and keep in mind is that Python is kind of based on C. Therefore, indexing always starts at 0. What it means is that this becomes row number 0. Bulbasaur, Ivysaur is row number 1. Venusaur is row number 2. Though this is like a third row, but if you see the index, this is index 0, 1, 2, 3. So if you want the third row, you actually will have to go ahead and specify the index 2. Similarly for columns, so if I go ahead and show you the head column over here, so this number is actually index 0, name is actually index 1, type 1 is actually index 2, which means the third column. So index 2 is actually third column. So when I go ahead and type in something like this, that I need these 3 columns from row index 0 to row index 10. You might actually go and say that, Kunal, this will give you 11 rows, right? But it not. The reason for that is that outer bound of ilog is never inclusive. So inner bound is inclusive. So 0 would be included, but 10 will not be included. We will get rows till index number 9. So from index number 0 to index number 9 would mean 10 rows, right? So I will go ahead and do control enter. If you see, I will actually go ahead and get 10 rows over here. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, which means 10 rows. Right? If you want to go ahead and use top 3 rows, I will go ahead and type in 3 over here. Again, you might actually go and think that I need to go ahead and type in, if I go ahead and type in index number 3, it will go ahead and give me 4 rows, but it will not, because it will go ahead and start from 0. But this is not inclusive here. So therefore, it will go ahead and give me from row index 0 to row index 2, which is like top 3 rows. Okay. So this is how I can actually go ahead and understand a bit about the data frame over here. Further, what I can do is I can actually go ahead and look into the columns that are available over here. Let's say I would want to go and understand a bit more about the data. What I can do is I can see what all columns are over here. So what I'll do is I'll just go and type df.columns, go control enter, and it will go and give me all the column names that are present over here, right? So this is a pretty neat way to go ahead and understand a bit more about your data, what it actually seems like, what all rows, columns are over there, what kind of data that you are actually going ahead and dealing with, right? This is what you can do over here. You can actually go, the very first thing as a data analyst we'll have to go and do is we'll have to understand what our data actually looks like. So one other command that will come in very handy for you is that if I go and do df.describe. So describe is a function, a method, which will help us to go ahead and understand this data in a little better manner. Okay. So I'll go ahead and put describe. So see, whenever we are using an attribute, for example, columns is an attribute. So I can just go ahead and type in df.columns. But if I want to go and use a method of data frame, described is a method. So I'll have to go ahead and have circular brackets over here. So I can again go do a control enter. What it will do is for all the numeric columns, remember all the numeric columns, not the category columns, not the string data, but all the numbers, it will go ahead and summarize it over here. So what it shows me is that total there are 800 count over here. It will go ahead and give me for non-null values, by the way. Mean, what is the mean over here? What is an average? What is the standard deviation? What is the minimum value over here? What is the top 25 percentile value? What is the top 50 percentile value? Top 75 percentile value? What is the max values of all these columns? It will go ahead and do it only for numeric columns, right? If you actually go ahead and want to go ahead and see what are the numeric columns and what are the object columns of your data frame, so what I will do is I will press on A. So what it will do is it will go ahead and create a cell above the cell that I'm working on. So I can actually go ahead and do df dot d types. Now again, this is an attribute of your data frame, so why I do not have to go ahead and have circular brackets over here. I just can go ahead and press control enter, and then it will go ahead and show me all the column names, and it will go ahead and show me whether this is an integer type or boolean type or object type and all that, right? Now if I would want to go ahead and, so this describe method actually goes ahead and just showcases the all the columns, give me a description of all the columns that were of integer type. But if I want to go and understand about the object type column as well, what I can do is I can actually go ahead and within this describe itself, let me go ahead and put it on a different cell. I can say df.describe. I can say include. So in the brackets, I will say include, and I will say object. Include the object types over here. So again, if I go and do a control enter, what it will do is it will only go ahead and give me a view of object type columns. Okay. So again, it is going ahead and showing me that there are 800 values in both name and type 1, type 2, 414. The rest, that is 386, they are of null type. So this is why it's not coming up over here. There are 800 unique values in name, which makes sense. All names are unique. There are 18 unique values in type 1, 18 unique values in type 2. Again, this is like all unique. So this is why just giving me one name. So water is having the top frequency over here in type 1, which comes 112 times, whereas flying is the top frequency in type 2, which is coming 97 times. Right? So this is how you can actually go and understand a bit more about your data, what you're doing, and how is it important for you, right? Let me again go ahead and show you the data once again. So again, I will go and press B, and let's go ahead and say print, which is to go ahead and print the data frame dot head. I would want to go ahead and see the head, and how I can actually go and see that values over here. Right? So now this is, like I said, that there are around 800 unique values over here, and I would want to go ahead and understand a bit more about this data frame, right? Let's say I would want to go and sort this thing out by, let's say, HP. So what I can do over here is, again, I can actually go ahead and sort the whole data frame by HP. What I will do is I'll say data frame df dot sort underscore values. So it will go ahead and give me the sorted values. Now I'll have to go ahead and describe on what parameter I need to go and sort my data frame. I will actually go and put HP over here in single quotes. And let's go ahead and run this command first. Yeah, this should go and do the trick. Again, note that sort underscore values is a method. So this is why I'm having it circular brackets over here. Okay, so let's go and do that. What it has done is it has actually given me the whole data frame, sorted data frame. But if you see HP, it's in ascending order, right? So the least HP is coming first, and the maximum HP 255 would be coming later. If you go ahead and remember this is what it was in when I described my table. This is what it showed, that least is 1, minimum is 1, and maximum is 255, which I can actually go and validate over here. Minimum is 1 and maximum is 255. But let's say I would want to go ahead and actually sort this whole table in the descending order of HP, right? So highest HP should be my first row. So what I can do is I can go and type next to a comma. I can type ascending is equal to false. So I do not want the ascending order. I would actually want the descending order. I can actually go and say that, do a control enter, and now if you guys go ahead and see, I will be able to go ahead and see my top row as 255. Okay, so my data frame is now sorted. So if I go ahead and print in my data frame, what should happen? I should get sorted value, right? So why? Because it just creates a view of the sorted values for me. It will not go ahead and sort the data table as such, right? It will not sort the data table as such. If I want to go ahead and sort the data table, what I'll have to go ahead and do is, let's say this is my sort command. I'll have to go and say df is equal to, I can go ahead and overwrite my data frame, or I can go ahead and create a new data frame. df1 is equal to df dot sort value on HP ascending false. Then I can go ahead and click on control enter. Again, it is not showing me anything, but if I want to go ahead and see my df1, now it will go ahead and show me everything in sorted values. Can you all see it? Pretty decent, right? So this is how we can actually go and do it. Let's say if you want to go ahead and do a grouping as well, like sorting is cool, but how about grouping? So let me just go ahead and remove this thing as well. So let me not go ahead and work on df1. I will again go and work on df. Let's say I would want to go and group everything on type 1. How would I go and do it? I'll say df dot group by that I would want to go and group everything. Again, this is a method. I will have circular bracket. I will actually go ahead and type in the name of the column group on the basis of type 1. And now remember that whenever I go ahead and do a grouping, it's just like I actually go ahead and do grouping of in SQL, right? It will go and aggregate data. So I will have to go ahead and say what record that I would want to go and see. So I can type in first. So it will go ahead and show me all the first records if I go ahead and group by type 1. So this is how it will go ahead and show it to me, right? For bug, this was the first record. For dog, this was the first record. For dragon, this was the first record. So this is how it will go ahead and show it to me, okay? So this is just like simple grouping over here. If I want, I can actually go ahead and merge these two things as well, okay? So what I can do is I can actually go ahead and sort and group. So let's go ahead and do that. Let's say I would want to go ahead and I'll just go and copy this real quick. I will go ahead and a comment, run it again so that I can actually go and get rid of this thing. I'll go and press B, have it in a different cell, and let's go and take this thing, okay? Now let's say I would want to go ahead and sort by 2 columns and then would want to go ahead and group, and then I would want to go ahead and get the highest value of a particular group, right? So I can actually go ahead and sort by, let's say, type 1, HP, and ascending is equal to false. So what it'll do is it'll go ahead and keep both as descending orders, right? Now, remember that if I am actually going ahead and passing two values, 2 column values, I'll have to go and use a list. So I will again go and create a list over here. Ascending is equal to false. And then I will say dot group by. I would want to go ahead and get a group by over here. Group by what? I will say type 1. And I would want to go ahead and see the first values over here. So I'll say dot first over here. Again, this is a method. So I'm having circular brackets over here. So just by dots, you can actually go ahead and combine different functions over here. Okay. So what it has done is, so if you actually go ahead and see, it has given me all the groups on the basis of type 1. What it has given me is the highest HP value of each of the group of type 1, right? So this is how it seems like to us. So the values, if I go ahead and show it to you over here on what we had earlier, these might be different. So earlier I was having Caterpie with an HP of 45. If I go and see it over here, I'm having Yan Mega with an HP of 86, because in this particular group, HP of 86 was the highest value for Yan Mega. So this is how it actually works. It's pretty cool. So you can actually go and do all these kind of things. Let's say this legendary column is not making sense to us, and I do want to go ahead and get rid of that. Again, if I go ahead and, by the way, if I go ahead and showcase you the DF column, how the DF column actually, how the DF data frame actually goes and looks like, what do you guys think what will happen? It'll go ahead and be replaced by this group. Let's go and see. So I'll do DF, Control F. No, it will not be replaced. It will be again our original table. So these are all just temp tables, so you don't have to go and worry too much about it until unless you go and store it in particular data frame or even overwrite on DF. Your DF will not be changed. It will still be the same thing. Let me again go ahead and put a comment over here, run it again so that I can get rid of it. Now let's say I would, like I said, that there was a DF legendary column which is not making much of a sense to us, so I can actually go ahead and see it over here as well. I believe it was with uppercase L. So yeah, it's like false to some kind of a Boolean column. I do not understand the logic. Why do I have it over here? And I would want to go ahead and drop it. Very simple. So I will say df is equal to df dot drop. So I'm now overwriting the table. Okay. What am I dropping? I'm dropping the columns. Which column am I dropping? I will go ahead and pass in then as a list that I am dropping the legendary column. Okay. Let me just go ahead and show you what happens if I go ahead and put small l first. Okay, let's go ahead and do a control enter. Now I'm having an error. Why? Because my name has to be exact replica of whatever the name of the column is in my data frame. So it was with uppercase L, so I'll have to go and use uppercase L, do a control enter. Okay, because I need to go ahead and type in equal to over here as well. I'm sorry about it. I should have been columns is equal to legendary. So let me go ahead and run it once again. So now let's go ahead and see whether it has actually dropped my column or not. So I will go ahead and put df data frame, and we'll try to go ahead and print it out, and my legendary column is now gone. Like gone. Okay, so I can actually go and see it over here. Pretty neat, right? So again, there are a lot of columns over here. I do not want to go ahead and see this. Again, I will go ahead and do comment it out, move it, add, press D, have another cell over here. So this is my 33rd run that had happened. So I will now go ahead and have my 34th run, by the way, just to go ahead and let you know that this is how it will go ahead, and Jupyter Notebook will keep on having a record of how many runs you have had. And it is not just about successful runs, by the way. Even your failures, like wherever I've made syntax error and all that is getting counted over here. Okay. Now let's say I would want to go ahead and put in some conditions. Conditions like Kunal, I need to go ahead and ensure that my HP is, let's say, more than average. So if I want to go ahead and see my mean of HP was 69, around 70, right? But I would want to go ahead and only see those Pokemons which are above average when it comes to HP. Okay. So I'll say, okay, fine, let's go ahead and do that. So what I'll do is I will go ahead and use a function which is another method over here, which is .loc, which is for location. And I will say I would want to go ahead and see all those values where my df HP is more than 70. Okay, I would want to go ahead and see all those values. So now let's go ahead and control enter, and I will actually go ahead and be able to go and see that everywhere HP is more than 70. If I want, I can actually go and again say sort underscore values, say HP ascending is equal to false. All right, let's see if this works. If this will go ahead and give me descending order. Now again, I can actually go and see it. That this is all HP in descending order, and the least is 71, because what I'm saying is that it has to be more than 70, right? So 71. So this is what I'm able to go and see over here. So again, as I showed you over here, that I can actually go ahead and combine different commands by just using dot. So let's say if your next is Kunal, okay, where my HP is more than 70 and my, let's say my defense. So not only hit point, my defense, which is average is 73.84, which is like 74, where my defense is also more than average. So defense is also more than 74, right? So what I can do is I can say, let's go ahead and do this sort value, or let me just go ahead and copy this thing and press B, put it over here. And let me just go ahead and remove the sort values for now and say and. So this is now a Boolean operation now, and gate or gate. Remember, I can say df, where my df of my data frame column name is defense. Defense, again, I'll have to go ahead and make sure that I'm using exact same spelling which is used my column names. Defense is more than 74, right? So 73.84 was my average of defense. Okay, yeah. So that should be more than 74. Okay, now let me just go ahead and run this command. Let's see what exactly happens. I'm telling you right now, it will go and give me an error message. Okay, why? Because my Python language is very particular in this case, that if I'm using two statements to go and compare, I'll have to go and use brackets over here. I'll go ahead and close these two things in brackets. Go ahead and do that. And let's go ahead and do control enter. Now it is giving me all my HP would be more than 70. My defense would be more than 74. Okay. So this is how I can actually go and do it. Let's say you say, Kunal, I would want to go and see just first 10 rows over here. So I can do dot iloc. Remember 0 to 10. For first 10 rows, I will do 10, and I will do control enter, and I will get 10 rows over here. This is how it is. Pretty neat, right? So yeah, if I want to go ahead and now has it changed my data frame? Let's go and check that real quick. So again, I will go and press D, EDF, control enter. No, nothing has changed my data frame. Till the time I don't overwrite it, it will not go ahead and change my data frame. Okay. Now let's say if you say that Kunal, I would want to go ahead and see the HP over here, the third row HP. This I want to go and see the exact 80 number over here. How would I go ahead and get that? So I'll do okay. Say df HP dot iloc, and I will say third index, third index. Okay. So sorry, third row. So my index would be 2 over here. So let's go ahead and get this thing real quick. And remember, this is outbound is not included. So I will do a control enter. It is giving me exact 80 number. Okay. So for a particular column, I would want to go ahead and see the particular row. This is how I can actually go ahead and do it. Now, towards the end, I showcased you very simple for. I will go ahead and do that over here. It's extremely simple to go ahead and create a for loop over here, and I will go ahead and show you how to. I believe the semantics of a for loop would be known to everyone, but just to go ahead and let you know, we are using two things over here, range and length. First of all, I will go ahead and show you length. What do I mean by length? So if I want to go ahead and know what is the length of my data frame df, what is length? That is the number of rows. If I go and do len df, it will go ahead and show me that I'm having 800 rows. Remember, I had 800 rows, so my length of my data frame is 800. All right. So when I go ahead and do range of 800, what it will do is it will go ahead and give me a range from 0 to 800. All right. So it will not go ahead and give me just 800 number. It will go ahead and create a range for me, which would be 0 to 800. So this is what I'm going to go ahead and do. So I'm going to go ahead and use for loop for I in range length. I'm just combining functions over here, length of df, and I'm saying so Python works completely on indent. So you know how in most comprehensive programming languages we are having semicolons to go ahead and showcase that this is the end of statement. In Python, we do not have semicolons, but we do have indent to go ahead and showcase how to go ahead and read this. The indent is extremely powerful and extremely important thing that you will have to go and focus on. So there are no brackets over here, no semicolons over here. So if you are new to Python, it will go ahead and take some time for you to go ahead and adjust, specifically if you're coming from the background of programming languages of C, C++, Java, much more formal programming languages, right? So what I'll do is I'll start a for loop over here, colon, and I'll press enter. Now you see there is an indent which has come directly over here. So it's kind of a bracket in Python that my code has to go and start from here. Let's say I want to go ahead and get the value of the HP. And my HP val is df. If I want to go ahead and do that, HP, I cannot type like this, sorry. It has to be enclosed in code. Not iloc, and I will go ahead and put I. What will happen is that if it creates a range for me, the first number would be 0. What it'll do is it will go ahead and give me the 0th value of HP column. 0th value of HP column would be, if I go ahead and quickly showcase you the df head, let's say, df dot head. So 0th row HP column would be 45, okay? So I'll get 45 over here. What I want to go ahead and do is, I would want to go ahead and check whether this number is even or not. Similarly for 60, similarly for 80, 80, 39, so on and so forth, right? So let's say I would want to go ahead and get the remainder. The remainder is HP underscore val modulo 2. Now remember, again, your programming days, C, C++, for remainder, we had a different symbol, different operation of percentage that was denoted by percentage, that is modulo. If I go ahead and just replace it by divide, it will go ahead and give me the quotient, and over here if I go ahead and put in the modulo, it will go ahead and give me the remainder. I would want to go and get the remainder. The idea is that every even number gets completely divided by 2, you will get 0 remainder. So what I'll check is that if remainder is equal to 0, there are 2 is equal to over here, right? If I go ahead and type in just 1, then what will happen is that remainder will get the value of 0. If I go ahead and get 2 equal to's over here, what it will do is it will go ahead and check whether my remainder value is equal to 0 or not. Okay? If my remainder value is equal to 0, then print that my HP number was 0. Now, else, now see what I've done is I've put down else over here. So this comes under if. Why? Because of the indent. So I do not want that. I want else to be counter of if. I can do a backspace over here, so it aligns with if. Now what happens is that if this condition is not met, it will go to the else section. It will go to else, print they odd. Right, so this is what I'm doing. I'm trying to go ahead and run a for loop across my data frame df, and for every value of HP in every row, I'm going to go ahead and check whether my number is even or odd. So what I can see from head at least is that my first row should be odd, my fifth row should be odd again, but my second, third, fourth, all these 3 rows. Let's go ahead and quickly run this for loop, and let's see what values do I get over here. Okay. All right, so this is what it is. So like I said, that my 0th position, my first row is odd, 2, 3, 4, even, and fifth is odd. So as you guys can actually go ahead and see, the Pandas is pretty robust, and we have just started over here, and you guys can actually already be able to go ahead and see that there are a lot of things that we can actually go and do over here. And it just is amazing how much more that we can actually go and do with Pandas, how we can actually go and manipulate a lot of data to go ahead and process it, to go ahead and get to a degree that we can now go ahead and apply machine learning on top of it. So that's why how Pandas is utilized. I hope that this refresher will actually help you to go ahead and recollect whatever we discussed in our workshop. And I'm planning to go and put it on YouTube, so I will go ahead and say the immortal words of all YouTube creators. Please like, subscribe, and comment on the video. No, you don't have to go and do that, because I'm not going to go and become a YouTube creator or anything like that. I'm just for better handle of things, I'll just go and put on YouTube, and that's about it. All right, so this is how I will go ahead and end our session. This is what we talked about. Different things, how we can actually go and do have Python installed on our GCP, how we can actually have Jupyter Notebook installed over there, how we can actually go and use Jupyter Notebook on our machine, and how we can actually go and use Jupyter Notebook to go and run our Python commands. So this is where I'm going to end. Again, guys, I hope that you actually enjoyed this session, and wishing you guys all the luck. Bye and take care, everyone.